Every so often, two or more artists and a producer set out to create something great, something groundbreaking, something that would really move the culture forward. But this was not one of those times. This was a situation that was set up just to be fun, that then became something great. This was a project that was 33 years in the making from two lifelong friends whose bond began with music. Yo, you good? We recording? I'm only doing this shit once. Alright, let's go. So how did I meet Impulse? Well, we actually met in sixth grade at J.L. Simpson Middle School, which at the time was kind of like a melting pot. You know what I'm saying? From various points to the different counties, all the different schools and shit poured into this one school. So you had different dynamics going on from different elementary schools and everything like that. Um, and school was cool. Like I ain't had no issue with going, but I always thought like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna make the most of it. So I remember my apartment complex at the time where I was living. Me and my little crew, there was like a grocery store, like a giant grocery store, and like a Kmart, and these places right next to where we lived. So we would all walk down there, me and my man, and we would steal gum, candy, pens, pencils, cigars, Phillies, and shit like that. And then we would turn around and flip it at school. You know what I mean? So I remember like going up to one of my regulars and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I got that gum, I got that, pens, condoms, whatever. Which was funny at the time because like we was in sixth grade, you know what I mean? Like most motherfuckers wasn't really messing with the ladies like that, or at least on that level, you know what I mean? But you didn't want to be seen as the guy who wasn't out here, getting it in. So regardless if you was or not, yo, you got those condoms. You ain't want to look crazy. So I remember going up to one of my regulars and being like, yo, I got that. What's good? What you need? And then dude was like, nah, I'm good. I got it from this Derek dude. So I'm like, all right, well. Went to like three, four, five more people, and they're like, nah, I'm good. Like Derek hooked me up. So then after a while, I'm like, yo, who the fuck is this Derek kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga's cut into my pockets. Like, who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah. So condoms. Um, yeah. That's a funny way to meet somebody, right? So I didn't even the cats where we went to school with over where I lived at. Like I said, I'm gonna leave some things out so some names so some people can remain nameless. But where I lived at, cats that I knew for a fact was not having sex, was buying condoms. I don't know if Kane mentioned it. It was a status symbol to have a condom, I guess. I thought it was a status symbol to use one. I never used one either at that time, so I didn't have a need for them either until I happened to see money being exchanged for them. I already had the Bazooka Joe thing going. Bazooka Joe was my original hustle. Again, this is what, like 93, 92. We caught the bus at the over by the 7-Eleven over Hunter's Crossing, and we all just stole whatever we wanted first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, so I would always rack a lot of Bazooka Joe since it was free, and it only cost 5 cents. I'd sell it for 5 cents. They were 5 cents a pop. Why not sell them for 5 cents? I wasn't paying anything. Sell a couple of them. Now I got me a little dollar or whatever. Maybe I'll buy me a little pack of pencils in the morning and flip them pencils because we pencil fight. I like to promote pencil fights and then sell pencils to people. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess we're hustling them. Anyway, again, I didn't have any need for these condoms, but I saw that everybody else did. So I started stealing them in the morning, and I basically saw who was buying them. So I didn't know Dwayne. I didn't know none of these other dudes. Not that was like me trying to get money. I didn't know them nothing. So I started selling condoms to these dudes. And I knew for a fact, that some of these dudes were literally just putting them on and wearing them so they could say that they were used. Jay Lumpton Simpson, middle school, 1992 to 1995. I'm not gonna name no names, but some of y'all know who you were. Y'all probably not watching this because we was mean to the weirdos eventually, but yeah. So I met Kane because we were selling the same things, and then we ended up going to the same church. and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, if you were selling.
So at any rate, I end up, finding out who the fuck Derek was and was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like the fuck? And this nigga was, out here getting his money.
So fast forward, not even that far, but like I hear who Dwayne is, and again, there's a couple other dudes who make a little monies or whatever, but I hear who Dwayne is.
So time goes on or whatever, and at the time, I was already like writing and rapping, and you know what I mean, like doing my thing. So I was real big into the culture or whatever. So it was like 6th grade. It was like '92. So Crisscross was real big at the time. You know what I'm saying? So me and my cousin was big Mac Daddy Mac fans or whatever. So I remember like going around like always spitting that shit, spitting the different songs bar for bar. I remember one time I was, spitting or whatever, and then out of nowhere, like somebody came in and was like rapping the bars, and I'm like, oh shit, and like was killing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between just Joe Blow or whatever, just saying a little rhyme versus somebody like with a cadence, like so. It ended up being Pulse.
Right before I met Kane, I met Kane in '92 because I was 11. So I met Kane in like middle of '92. My parents got back together right before 6th grade. I had been writing and recording for about a year and a half. I used to freestyle and literally just redo LL Cool J lyrics, hoping nobody would know. Starting like 88, 89, when I lived in Winchester. And then there was a kid on my school bus that thought he was Kool Moe Dee. And I remember we used to do each other, he would do Kool Moe Dee bars, and I would do Cool J bars. We would do them back and forth to see who could do them the most, like, with the most pizzazz. And eventually I just started changing some of the lyrics.
So we shared a similar bond of, getting that money and making the best out of, maybe a bad situation. But then we also, found that we also, had this love and affinity for music. And especially, not just like hip hop, but like, old school Parliament, George Clinton. Then, a little further, we come to find out our parents knew each other and they were cool. You know what I'm saying? Both his mom, my mom. You know what I'm saying? Dad, everybody was cool, you know what I mean? So that just brought us, closer together. Then, I found out that he actually, was writing and rapping and doing his thing like I was. So after that, we were constantly all about the culture and that part of it.
So me and Kane, both of us like recorded a bunch of different tapes during in high school. Again, this is the '90s. We're recording them on the boom boxes. I didn't have all this stuff going on, so we're recording them on the boom boxes through headphones, through the little mic ports, through really cheap microphones. We got in trouble one time for trying to record a song at church during the lock-in, which is kind of funny. That's a whole other story. Again, nothing to do with this record, but so we kept working on music. Being in high school, not living in the same town, we lived just one town apart, which is a big deal when you don't have a vehicle back then. Never was able to really record together.
So how did we get here? I mean, me and Pulse, like, we had always like lived in different points. Like he was always, here, there, you know what I mean? It was youngins. So like I always wrote, was independent, and then, he was out in Middleburg. He had, his various crew and things like that.
Fast forward, 99, 2000, I finally, we graduate high school, move out. I set up a studio at my like first independent place. It's basically like the entire back room of the two room apartment I shared with my ex-wife. And, I was always working on something. I figured out really how to like record a lot of stuff in unison, and like I've made it the whole configuration. Kane finally came over and we recorded something then. And up until this record, that was all that we had.
We always practice together. We did these joints what we call the session, and the session would just basically be us, freestyling, going over some of our writtens to various beats and shit that we would find. Um, so we never. I mean, it took us a while before we actually did like a full song, and then we did a handful of songs together. For my various projects and whatnot, and always know I could get a quality verse from Pulse. You know what I mean? But we had never done like a full scale joint together as far as like a full project. And what ended up happening, Pulse is always like the hardest working nigga in hip hop. Like he's always got like at any given time he got like 5 albums or projects going. You know what I mean? So that's the one thing I say about that. Like any given time, like he's working on shit. So I remember him coming to me and being like, "Yo, I don't have anything going on. Like everything is recorded, being mixed, sent off. Like I'm completely whatever for like the first time in a long time." And I remember like jokingly saying like, "Yo, it's time for that Kane King Impulse project. You know what I'm saying? It's time for us to get started on that." And he was like, "All right, well yeah." He was like, "Let's do that." But he's like, "Right now I'm kind of burnt out." So he was like, "You gonna have to like pick the beats and come up with the concepts for the songs and all of that." And I was like, "All right, yeah, I can do that. And then like he made a suggestion that there could only really be one producer or one, that could fit, what we collectively do together. And that was Count Fifth, So he was like, "Yo, holla at Fifth, get some beats."
So fast forward from 2001, but still back in the time machine, I bumped into Count Fifth 2002. And that was the first time I had like someone to build with regularly, making beats literally accustomed for me. I was the only person that he was making beats for at the time. He could tell, he'll tell you something different. I know he's gonna tell you something different. He had a bunch of other friends that rap, but we knew, everybody knew. Fifth made a beat first, it was for me. And that was the relationship that we pretty much had since 2002, 2003. Fifth went away to Full Sail, learned a gang of stuff, came back, taught me a gang of stuff, kept getting better. Eventually, I knew that before all was all said and done, I had to make a record with Kane. This started off as like, I don't know if Kane's even mentioned this, but this started off as like a passion project idea. And I don't know how honest he'll be about this process because it's funny to me. We both wanted to do the record. It came up a couple times, and then finally I kind of put my foot down. Like, I'm burnt out. I ain't got no more ideas. I don't want to write nothing right now. You pick the beat, start all the songs. We'll come over, we'll record it, we'll make the record.
So basically, I met my man Kane King through my man Impulse. And I met Impulse back in 2002. And I was getting ready to go to Full Sail University and, do my music engineering college thing. And so I went down. We met, kind of briefly through a mutual friend, and we kind of hit it off right away. And I was like, I'm getting ready to go to school. This is crazy timing, but we got to work. We sent each other music. We knew each other were dope, so we knew we wanted to work. And once I got back from school, it was like, I was ready to go. So, and that's basically what happened. I have another artist that I was working with heavy at that time when I first came home from school down in Florida, and I moved back to VA. So it all started from there. We started working once I got back home. We started working on EPs, albums, music, recording together. And building with other artists. Like I said, I was kind of putting people together, being a conduit and introducing people. And the same with him, introducing me to his people that he kind of started working with when he grew up. Kane King, one of them. So, I met him early on. First, like one of the first cats I met through Impulse, or his government, Derek. Um, was Kane and fam, straight up. You know what I mean? Always been, working hard at this and always been a dope artist. So I decided that, they reached out, they wanted to do this project, and we here we are.
So, you know, I ended up hollering at Fifth. He ended up sending me a collection of beats for me to choose from. Joints that weren't necessarily typical to shit that I like, wasn't necessarily, typical to things that Post would like. So, you know what I'm saying? It was shit to make us work a little different, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I start going over the beats. I'm like, all right, cool. I ran it past Post a couple times, you know what I'm saying? He was listening, half listening, not really listening, you know what I'm saying?
Fifth sent Kane the beats, listen to the beats. He picks the beats, or he's like filtering through. I'm listening to him at the gym sometimes. I'm like, here and there, and but my brain is literally completely not committed to this record at all because I don't have the space, right?
So, life is life, and I ain't necessarily like, go full force, like jump all over the beach and come up with everything right away. Um, so then, what ended up happening? Post, being Post, like one day, he hit me and was like, yo, I think I got an idea for this one, or I got this one. And the next thing you know, my man has structured out all the songs, or came up with ideas and concepts for different songs. It was like, I'm probably write my verse for this, and then like structure this, and I'll send you this, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was gonna come up with all this shit, but Post being Post, I mean that's why I got his name, Impulse, like and like this, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, bet.
So naturally, what the fuck happens? I got one. I'm manic, so I got this one that I can't sleep, and I create some kind of conundrum to like every single fucking beat, and kind of just walk through it because I know both of us so well that I know where we'll meet in the middle topic wise. I know some of these samples that I use literally are like old jokes between me and him. Some of the lines that we said, some of the topics are just the things we talk about every day. Um, Even the fucking title. Again, I might be jumping ahead of some of the stuff Kane's gonna say, but even the title for me, which I thought of the title, I thought because all this stuff related, um, I've had a fucking traumatic life. Kane's had a traumatic life, whether again it's any of your business or not, what it was. But we were born in '81, raised where we were, and we bonded. We didn't bond simply through trauma, but come on, man, like that's part of being a child. Like you do share trauma with your fucking friends. Like even if it's just something y'all both saw on TV at the same time that would fucking traumatize you. You know what I mean? So that the whole concept came from this record's been supposed to be like this is the record we would have made if all this shit existed and we knew Fifth back then. This is the record we would have made when we was like 11 and 12, 13. Like this is what our high school experience would have been best sounded. You know what I mean?
Okay, the album is called Use of Force. It's out right now. Get it on Bandcamp. It's physicals, it's merch. Go right now. Bandcamp, Trauma Bond, Use of Force. It's featuring two artists, two MCs, Impulse and Kane King. All right.
So go listen to Trauma Bond by Impulse, King King, Count Fifth, Use of Force. Enjoy the album.
Impulse and Kane King. All right. These dudes grew up together from out here in Northern VA. And, they come together to put this record out and make a statement. And I produced the whole record. I mixed and mastered it. So basically, there's Impulse has a lot of music out there on his own as well. Go check his Bandcamp out. It's Impulse, EMPULS. So go check it out. And he's got a lot of music as well. Kane King, he's got a lot of music out there as well on his own. Bandcamp, Kane King, you know what I mean? KAIN King, you know what I mean? So peep out all their music and go support this project, Trauma Bond, Calm Bomb Records. You know what I mean? It's out on Calm Bomb. Shout out to my man Chrome, Impulse, Kane King. There's videos out right now. Go check them on YouTube. Just Trauma Bond, Use of Force, and you'll find them. You know what I mean? Shout out to my brothers. And there's other stories I could go on about, you know what I mean, with my man Kane King and Impulse together, and us going to different studios and working together for a long time. So, shout out to my brothers. It was a overdue project, long overdue. So, and we're proud of it, man. It's a solid record, man. Check it out. It's dope. You know what I mean? I stand by it. Solid. Count Fifth, man, Vice Dog Records. Trauma Bond, Use of Force, out on Calm Bomb Records. Go get it right now. Bandcamp, go stream it right now. Spotify, Tidal, boom, all of it. But go, and most importantly, buy it. Buy the physicals, download it digitally, and have a copy forever, because the Skynet takes over and the internet goes down. At least you have it saved on your computer. Count Fifth, I'm out. Peace.